Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Getting to know Kirkos.
We are joined today by Jacob Brooks and Jordan Allen from Kirkos. How you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic. Love having you on. Why don't we jump in at the beginning and give me your origin story?
Sure. So the two of us, Jacob and I, we grew up and went to high school together. We both are from Birmingham, Alabama, and we kind of grew up just big fans of music, but jam music specifically. Going to Phish shows in town at the Pelham Amphitheater, going to like widespread shows and small festivals around. And through that, we both kind of met a good bit of friends in the music scene and stuff, and developed a little bit more of a passion for it in general, and we moved out to Colorado. And while we were out there, Jacob here lived with Miles Jaffe, who's now our drummer. They happened to just live in the same building at Copper Mountain. They were working in a ski town out there. And so they just met by happenstance, lived together in Denver for a little while. And then Miles moved back to St. Louis. And this was back in 2017, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was living in Telluride, Colorado at the time, working at a different ski resort. But we kind of made the move up to Denver together in 2019 with the plans of starting a group there. And then we know COVID happened pretty much like at the beginning of 2020. And so that kind of put a little bit of a stall on our hopes of getting something off the ground there. It made it difficult to meet people to play with in person as we were new to the city. And so we were kind of reaching out to people that we knew and talking with Miles a good bit, who was at this point in St. Louis. He convinced us to come out for a visit as we were on a road trip. And we stopped here for a few days. Yeah, 3 or 4 days. And his other band at the time, they were called Ground Control. They were kind of like a psych rock band here in St. Louis. They had a show. We went out, met a lot of people in the local scene, and just kind of fell in love with the city. So we moved here and we started playing with just us three for a while, kind of doing like organ, bass, and drum stuff, trio stuff. We had a handful of compositions that we had wrote previously, but we were looking for a fourth piece, like a guitar player. So we made a post on like kind of a defunct Facebook group in St. Louis. That's like a Facebook friends music finder kind of thing. We were just looking for a guitar player, and it just so happens that I had a mutual friend on Facebook named AJ Halcrow. He's a guitar player that was based in St. Louis, and he was playing in a band called Echo Bass Quartet, based out of St. Louis in like 2018, 2019. When COVID happened, they disbanded, so he was looking for work to do. And so he came by and we jammed one night, and things kind of connected there. And that was back in the fall of 2021. And that was like the first time we played music together. It was right before Phish at Deer Creek in 2021. And we all kind of met up again there, kind of solidified the chemistry and everything. And it's kind of been going since then. We played our debut show in February of 2022 on 2/22/22 at this place called Pop's Blue Moon here in St. Louis. And yeah, since then we've been kind of trying to hit the road and tour a good bit, spread it out a little bit.
So that first time that you had AJ come in, did it just were you like, this is it? It feels right?
Yeah, we have kind of a penchant for like a little bit of a kind of a gritty, edgier sound, a little bit heavier, kind of darker, moody sound. And AJ came with a background of like listening to metal music. He's a big Humphreys fan. He's seen Humphreys like 100 times, some crazy number of Humphreys shows. But he brought that kind of in from the guitar perspective, and we were like immediately like we looked at each other. We were like, yeah, this is going to be a good addition here. And we had a couple of compositions we put together in Denver, and we showed them to him and just kind of let him feel it out. And just on the first pass through of like one of our songs, "The Village with the Purple Cow," we that's kind of when we knew like this feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the songs that you had not really been road tested, played out before?
Nope.
No,
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 not.
just kind of us playing them and writing them and adding parts and taking out parts and kind of ironing them out at home.
Very nice, very nice. Now, newer stuff when you're looking forward, are you going to go with the road testing first?
Oh yeah. The album that we put out, our debut album came out in September of 2023, so last year. And all of the songs on that album we had played out on the road before releasing it as a studio album. And I think that playing the shows or playing the songs out live first kind of helps to flesh it out where you can see like where does the crowd respond to like the certain sections? How can we kind of help to give that a little bit more energy, emphasize certain things that the crowd likes or whatever. And like also like when you're feeding off that live energy, you might just make a change, like this is a riff I think sounds really cool here and see how that reacts. And so like a couple of our songs kind of changed a little bit from the beginning when we first hit the studio and after playing it live, they kind of evolved into another thing.
Nice. And so you put out a single first,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was called Easy.
Yeah.
Now, who was the writer on that, or is that a combination of the four of you?
That was AJ for the most part. He kind of had like the lyrics and the sections pieced out and brought it to practice, and we just kind of brought the full band life to the composition.
There you go. There you go. Now, you don't normally do the vocals.
We are primarily an instrumental band, I feel like, but we don't want to limit ourselves to any specific category. We're kind of like genre bending a little bit. Like we don't fit super well into any genre. We're not trying to say that we're just instrumental or that we're just a jam band or whatever. So we're kind of just trying to let authentic expression be the main guide. So like if I have something that hits me, for instance, one of our songs, Fumes, I was driving on the road to work one day. I saw we had some terrible air quality warning on the side of the road. And as I saw that, like lyrics just popped in my head and wrote a quick little poem like on my phone as I was driving. I shouldn't have, but it came to me, so I did. And then that was like kind of the impetus for that song being thrown into the rotation. So it's like if something hits us that feels creatively inspired, we want to be able to be true to that and not limit ourselves to being like, well, does that fit in within the scope of like what we visioned for the band? Is that an instrumental track or no? We're trying to be as open as we can to whatever comes.
Let's talk about the album a little bit.
Okay.
How did you guys, one, pick the tunes that were on there, and two, decide what the sequence was for them?
So we kind of decided early on, based on some of the tracks we thought we wanted to record first, that we would go in the direction of like an instrumental project. And then kind of the names and the order of it are kind of like loosely conceptual. So kind of the starting with like Unearthed, for instance, it's like unearthing the sound of the album and stuff like that. And then kind of the ending with Futures Past is meant to like imply that the time's kind of non-existent and it'll happen again and stuff like that. And then even the kind of the stuff in the middle kind of lines up with the concept as well.
And a couple of the tunes, I guess the Village with the Purple Cow is one of your earliest tunes, and Juxtaposition was obviously a single there. Did you record more than just the six, or did you go in and just say, this is what it's going to be?
I think we knew what it was going to be going into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a concept album like Jacob had mentioned. So we spent some time before we even went into the studio and kind of crafted together like what are the songs we want to include here to best express like the concept that we had, which was kind of the idea of kind of being dropped into this world or this space that's kind of like forgotten to time, where you have overlapping time periods simultaneously present, and it kind of feels like familiar and also strange and eerie. And so we were kind of trying to capture that and tell like a little bit of a story throughout the album in relation to that. And so we've kind of picked the order to reflect that as much as possible.
Do you I don't know, I couldn't find any, but do you have any videos? Just the way you describe your music to me, I could almost imagine that turning into some kind of, I don't know, visual type of thing, because even the instrumentals, there's so many interesting ways to do that. I was just wondering if you'd ever thought about it.
We've definitely talked about like the possibility of like animated videos or something like that. Sort of telling a story more than anything with it, and definitely have like some concepts and stuff for that. We just haven't really had the time or energy to focus into that kind of new creative lane.
Yeah,
So it's possible in the future.
definitely.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely possible.
Yeah, we have our eyes set on some bigger multimedia stuff in the future for sure, including music videos and ideally maybe a short film down the line as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We were talking to a guy, Ari Joshua, and he wants to do a little documentary of going in the studio and recording
That's
kind
sweet.
of
Nice.
thing,
Yeah.
which I think would be fascinating. It's the thing is when you're new, nobody's willing to put out to do that. But the thing is, 10 years from now, you guys are still together. That's going to be the most interesting thing to be
Right.
able to look back and see those
Mm-hmm.
moments.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's kind of why we try to make sure, like at the very least, we're recording each show, and trying to like at least keep like a record of our set lists and stuff like that. Keep audio recordings out there, and I think as we kind of grow a little bit, and we kind of get some access to a little bit more capital here and there, we can ideally start putting out some more multimedia stuff like music videos and that kind of thing, and maybe even small like tour documentaries would be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Now, who do you travel with? Do you have a sound guy? Anything like that?
Right now it's just the four of us. We kind of handle everything ourselves as much as possible.
Hmm.
You're heading out to Arizona, Nevada.
Hmm.
Is that first time you're going to be getting to those markets?
Yes. Hmm. We'll be taking a trip down through like Arkansas, and then into Arizona, Nevada, and back through Denver, and then kind of driving through Nebraska and Kansas to get here. It'll be our first time in Arizona or in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited. We're going to be playing 2 nights in Vegas when Phish is there at the Sphere. We're going to try to get in on 420 if we can because it's our off night. We're going to see how that works out. We don't have tickets yet. We know it's kind of a difficult situation as far as that
Right.
goes right now, but we're going to keep our ears and eyes open.
So you're playing Herman's Hideaway, right?
We are.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played there before? Is that where you played in Denver before?
No, we played your mom's house last time. This is a newer spot. We've been seeing a lot of our friends and stuff playing it, so we thought we'd give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll be playing there with this band called Jawa. They're from Boulder. They're kind of like a little bit heavier, edgier kind of sound as well. And then our friend Pat Harvey, who's the guitarist from Cycles, he'll be doing a solo set there. Always great. He's a close friend of ours, and we had him at our last show at your mom's house. Did a big sit-in segue kind of thing with him there. So we're looking forward to playing with him again, crossing paths with him.
What's the future looking like? Are we going to be getting back in the studio again, or are you just going to let this roll for a little bit and marinate?
I think we have the tour coming up in April that's going to bring us out to Nevada and stuff like we talked about. So we won't be able to get a whole lot done in that way until maybe in the middle of the year. But we definitely have like a lot of material that's ready to go into the studio. That may be one thing that like holds up bringing in other people. It's like we're sitting on all this original material that we already have.
Yeah.
That doesn't need any more like creative input. That could get recorded before we need to like bring in other creative avenues in recording. But yeah, I definitely think we plan on getting some stuff out there in the next year or so.
Yeah,
now,
we
are
have-
you are you trying to like find a label to work with, or are you happy putting stuff out on your own?
We're pretty happy being independent right now as we are because it gives us the full control of our artistic vision and as well as the message we're putting out. We would definitely be open to some sort of label or management if it was the right fit. We've seen bands that pick up management that kind of force them into a different style of venues that they're playing, or maybe want them to do different messaging or like aesthetic choices, that we want to be able to have full control of what we have to say, because it's very much so driven by the authentic expression of what we're trying to get out of ourselves. And so we're leaving ourselves open to being approached by any type of management or label, but we don't want to bog ourselves down into something that we're not, or trap ourselves with something that's going to ultimately like affect the way that we're able to express ourselves. So it's kind of a tricky thing, just kind of finding the right person and getting in front of the right people as well, which I think we're starting to finally kind of catch on a little bit, get in front of some new people.
I heard of you. So
sweet. Yeah, that's great. We were shocked and a little surprised, but definitely grateful for the opportunity.
You guys want to throw anything else out, or did we cover most of what we needed?
I think we've pretty much covered everything. Yeah. The only thing would just be, we have the spring tour coming up. So if you're in Colorado, if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, Kansas City, any of those places, Las Vegas, if you'll be there for Phish, come out and see us.
You're going to have to drag Amanda out the
highway
there.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, if I can help promote or share or anything, I'm totally down for that.
And she's great at merch.
Oh, sweet.
I do like doing merch. That's true.
Well, we'll keep that in mind.
We'll stay in touch for sure.
We have some new merch and stuff that we just actually worked up that we'll be bringing with us on tour. So we're pretty excited.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.